What are you guys most excited for people to hear, just in general, about the upcoming album?
I think it's like actually like the record that we've been trying to make since we started this band.
So what were some of the almost project names that you were going to do before you set it on Beauty School Dropout?
8mm porno is in there.
8mm porno.
Wasn't it the Penis Boys, one of them?
The Penis Boys?
Yeah, the Penis Boys.
You haven't heard the sexy yet.
But I've seen the sexy.
We've always been sexy, but now we sound sexy.
Ooh. Welcome to Spout Beauty School Dropout. Feels good to be chatting with you because I've known you guys for so long and we've never properly had an interview. So how we doing today, guys?
Amazing. Good, feeling great.
Good, feeling good,
Thank
feeling
you for
great.
having us.
Yeah, of course. Bart, how about down here? You feeling good,
I'm
feeling
good.
great?
Just had some coffee.
Mm.
Made an espresso. We're good.
Mm-hmm. In the words of Sabrina Carpenter.
It was a me espresso this morning.
Big year for you guys. Lots of cool stuff. You've dropped a couple songs. Fever is the latest song.
Yes, sir.
I got the fever. I got the fever in my soul.
And then just before that, On Your Lips is the other song.
On your lips is where I am. Just like you said I might. 'Cause on your lips is where I am. If you don't mind, just like you said I might.
From the upcoming album, what happened to all the butterflies? Or where'd all the butterflies go?
Where did all the butterflies go?
Where did all the butterflies go? Now,
Same question.
Yeah, good. Also, just as good of a question. What happened?
What happened to all?
Where did they go?
what happened? Now, is this like geographically the butterflies in the world, or is this the butterflies in your stomach? Talk to me about this title.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And next topic, guys. That was good.
Yeah.
But so this album, you guys are dropping. What is it? September 5th.
Yes.
Yes.
You worked with Neal Avron on it, who has done some of my favorite albums, the most iconic stuff, from Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy.
Going down, around, and sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one with a bullet. A loaded gun complex, targeting.
The Used, he did artwork from them.
There's blood on my hands like the blood in you. Some things can't be treated, so don't make me be myself around you.
You guys got to go in the studio with him. So what was that experience like for the upcoming album?
It was like, I think all of our childhood dreams wrapped into one. You know, this is the first time we've been able, had a producer take us through the traditional kind of band approach to a production of an album, let alone our first full-length album that we're doing. So to be able to go through the process of like playing with amps and heads and cabs and live drums and all the things, it just brought us to a different place of sonic exploration that we have ever really done before, and I think that was like probably one of the most valuable parts of finding our sound for this album.
Mm-hmm.
My highlight was that I would reference a song and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I did that."
Let me pull up the raw files to it and we can take a look at it.
Oh, literally
day.
every day. It was
It'd be like
insane.
a new band, and I would just like play something or like say something. He's like, "Oh yeah, I did that."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Wait."
Deep cuts too.
Did every song. Every song ever.
Was this the first time that you guys have worked with, was it just one person you worked with for such a big project, or did you guys
this
work
is like
with?
the most like traditional album making thing we've ever done. I mean, I think nowadays people have the idea of like how albums are made or music, which is like what we always thought of when we were kids. Like, oh, you go and do it. It's like no one does that anymore. You know, this is very traditional. Like, go in, be a band, record shit live with things, and so it was cool. But yeah, it was 3 months in the making.
Well,
It was a year,
Last
2
year.
years in the making.
But the actual
writing
recording
but
of it was...
the recording it was 3 months. It just takes a long time. It's like there's no like plugins for the stuff. You're doing it. There's not like, oh, let's use this amp plugin. It's like, this is the real amp.
This is the amp.
This is
that
the
we have.
actual amp and the actual pedal and the thing. And there's 3 people operating the whole thing. It's like driving a freaking cruise ship. You know what I mean? It's like
So sick.
and we actually had to play well.
Yeah.
Ugh, the
Which
worst
we
part,
suck,
right?
so.
It made us better, honestly.
Which is
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
because it's such a throwback to how stuff used to be done, because everything is so digital nowadays.
It's
Absolutely.
pretty humbling sitting there playing the simplest guitar part and having Neil just go,
Nope.
do it again. And I'm like, really? We can't just like quantize that or something? And he's just like, do it again. I'm like 30 minutes later, I'm like should quit. This is so bad.
If I wasn't such a freak, you'd be with me. I'm such a loser. If you put me on a leash, you'd be with me. I'm such a loser. I'm such a loser.
So with stuff like Ready to Eat, that was 9 songs. So it feels like when I see that, that's almost a full length, it seems. But what's the difference between when does it become like a proper debut full length album compared to the releases before it that were just EPs, I
I
suppose?
think it's our ego.
Okay.
It's a little ego. It's also, well, I mean, all of those, I think Max had like 7 or 8 songs, but there were also interludes and little things to water it down and try and make it more of a story, whatever. Whereas this is just, it's out now technically, so can we say it?
14 songs.
14 songs of just pure heat.
Man, and even that's like a throwback because I feel like that used to be the number of songs on an album, and then it really became like 10. 10 songs is like a full-length album is what so many artists started to do. So
Yeah.
that's a big project.
Well, because what's the minimum for it to be considered for a Grammy or some? Are we allowed to swear on here? Am I
Yeah,
allowed to
yeah, you
swear?
can.
Yeah, cool. Am I gonna get fined? Fuck.
I'll break,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
break
Say
the ice
dealer.
every
Just some bullshit that the fucking industry side tries to put on artists. Where it's like, what? I mean, you have to have a minimum of 8 songs, and it's considered
It's like minutes.
an
dude.
album
I
for a
think the
Grammy.
reason
It's
it
just
feels like an album is because this is the most like put together this project has been. Like Ready to Eat we were making that on tour. You know what I mean?
Have I been killing myself? Dying to be you. Holding my breath until my face turns blue.
We made plans to go laugh. We were like figuring out what everything else was figuring out what the we're doing. This is the first time we're like, took us 2 goddamn years to write this shit. So it's about time it comes out. You know what I mean?
it was a
feels
long
like a project.
process for sure.
Worth it.
It was worth it. I'm sure it was. And how cool in hindsight, full circle for you guys to have worked with someone that we all grew up like looking up to with Neal. So that's really rad that you're able to get in the studio with him.
The special part about it is like we trust him, like from the moment we met him, just because of like what he's done.
Yeah. So what's that like? Like, what was it like when you guys first were like, okay, we're working with Neal, we're sitting down to
I
put
was
out a song?
so scared, dude. Honestly, like, because nowadays in the way it works in like the writing process is you go in and like you can churn out a song like day of. It can be like radio ready day 1, and producers are getting so fast, and so we're used to like the process. You go in with the producer, or I do it, and it's just like the song we get is like, all right, it's pretty much there. The demo, it's pretty mixed. You know what I mean, things will change, whatever. But with him, it's like we'd never done a session with him. We just met at his house one day, and it was like, oh, he's like, cool, I f you guys, I love these songs, let's do it. And it was kind of going in sight unseen, and we go in and we spend a month for the first 5 singles doing these things, and the only point of references of how we hear these things sound are just like the raw files of us just recording like dry ass guitar, dry ass vocals, like nothing tuned, nothing fixed. It's just like raw material. And he's like, cool, leave after a month. We're like, okay. And that was our point of reference, leaving. And we're like, I'm like, dude, honestly, I was like, we're f***ed. This is terrible. This is so bad. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck we did. Like we like the label pay for this shit. What the f***? How, like, this guy's a legend. Like, what do we do? And then after a week, he's like, I got a present for you guys. And he sends us a folder, and it's just all the mixed versions of everything. And I'm like, oh, that's Neal Avron. That's the difference of like, and it's just like the attention to detail, and the patience. That's the biggest thing is like producers, there's no patience anymore because the industry moves so fast and everyone needs things like yesterday.
Immediately.
This is like the most patient thing we've ever done. And it, you know,
He's like a true craftsman. Like the way that he works reminds me of what it must have been like to like take a slate of marble and chisel it into
Which
like a
blows my mind. How did they
statue.
do that stuff back
Oh,
in
I
the
know.
day? Have you seen
I
the
know, it's-
cloth and like the hairs?
Literally,
how?
that's how we feel. Because like a perfect example is this song "Fever," right? It's
Yes.
like that was one of the first songs that we wrote in the catalog era of this whole album. Which I mean, we wrote probably well over like 75 to 100 songs for
It
this
always
album.
blows my mind when artists say that, like, "Oh, we wrote dozens, almost 100 songs for this." That's insane.
We're a little neurotic for sure, and it's also our career outside of this. Like we write and produce records for everyone else.
And
too,
if you
so-
just do it every single day, 5 days a week,
yeah,
Before you know
for
it.
a year,
Yeah.
I would hope you have 100 songs.
Uh huh.
for sure. But that being said, Fever was one of the first ones that we actually came out with, and that became kind of the North Star sonically. But in that process of us trying to figure out who we wanted to be kind of the executive lead on production for this whole thing, we had gotten probably like 3 or 4 spec mixes on it, and every time we're just like, God, this is tough. Like nothing was beating the demo. So for that whole story to happen, what he just explained, and us leaving, and then all of a sudden Neal drops us a gift, and it's Fever mixed his way, and it's better not only than ours, but like than anything we've ever heard. We're like, oh,
That's where you're like, oh, he nailed it. Yep,
absolutely. He is an
Nailed it.
absolute legend.
So Bardot, for you, because you do so much producing stuff, was working with him like insightful for your own work ethic and how you're going to be moving forward as a producer?
I'm like, I just take notes the whole time. It was kind of like producer university. You know what I mean? That was the coolest thing to get to do it. It's just like, not everyone gets to work with someone like Neal so closely. And, but it's just such a different process. And like, I learned a lot of ways that I want to do things. I learned a lot of ways that I don't want to do things. And I think also like, I could tell he was also like picking up on things that I was doing too. Because like he would send me on little like side quests, like, all right, we need a bridge for something, or like we need this synth part, and he's like, just can you do it? I'm like, yeah. So I just go on my laptop in the kitchen and of the studio and just like,
sick.
and then I come back like 30 minutes later and like show him, and he's just like, how the did you do that so quickly? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, like you just. And I'm like, yeah, like because we're from different.
It's generations, different eras of music production.
And I'm like I learned from Skrillex, and he learned from his guy, like whatever. It's just like we learn differently and pulled from different things, and I'm just like, how quickly can I go? And he's just like, but it was cool, and we just kind of learned a lot from each other, and it was fun. So he's just a really cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They would also cook us. Well, his wife would make us.
Speak into your mic for me. Sir.
Oh, sorry,
Thank you.
I forgot. Still waking up. Yeah. His wife would cook us home cooked meals every day.
Was
like
it?
the
So it
craziest.
was like his home studio that this was at.
Yeah.
Oh.
His home studio is. that's humble. This is like,
Yeah.
there's he built a back house at his house that has a big. It's called the casita, and it's basically this.
The casita.
Yeah, the casita, and it's this big.
It's badass.
Compound. It's amazing.
But the backyard feels like you're like on the Italian
It
countryside.
does.
amazing.
That sounds beautiful.
No,
Is it like
it's
what, in
just
the
in
Calabasas Hills or something? Or
No, like towards WeHo, but we just.
wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't want to dox Neal.
what's the
but-
address?
Yeah.
Geolocation.
No, but I mean, we would go and they'd bring us these crazy home cooked meals every day, and we'd all sit outside, like the whole team,
Family style.
his engineers, and like whoever was working with us that day, and we would just sit and chop it up and get
Wow.
into whatever life
It
conversations.
was summer
we could.
camp.
Pretty
It was
much.
summer camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys got summer school coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
we
Speaking
do.
of
Yeah.
which,
Nice
so
transition.
catch them on tour. Which
Hey.
let's talk about what's going on this summer for you guys music-wise. I guess Warped Tour's coming up.
Very excited
Summer
about that.
school's coming up.
Yes,
So you guys are hitting the road a lot.
We're gonna be hitting the road probably the rest of the year, if not well into 2026 as well, depending on how this album goes.
We've been deprived the last year and a half of touring, so
But you've been building up
we've
to,
been building
to
up.
have the best tour yet, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I'm
Yes,
trying
sir.
to go on musical deployment.
Hey, you said that I was just a pastime. Wait, I told you this would be the last time. You never take my advice, pay the price, but I don't mind. No, I don't mind.
So you guys kicked off in 2020. That's at least when music started coming out. From
Yeah,
Beauty
we
School.
started in 2019, so like
2019, just before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
really-
couple months. Our first show was gonna be at South by Southwest in 2020.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
obviously that did not
South
happen.
by Southwest canceled.
Yeah.
So, because Cully, you were in a band, Strange Faces.
Yes.
And you were just guitar in it.
Let's get lost here in California. What's your poison? I've got all of them. I got all of them.
Yeah, I was just guitaring it. I dropped out of school to join that band with our now drummer Colton.
Were you a beauty school dropout or?
No, it's funny. We're all regular school dropouts. Colton's the only real beauty school dropout. He is a beauty school dropout.
beauty school dropout.
Some lore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if he were here, I'd ask all about it. But
It's so funny. No, I was on a flight back from Australia, and I was reading a magazine, and because I couldn't sleep, such a long flight, and then on the back of the magazine there was this whole excerpt about Frankie Avalon, and had that song written out.
Beauty school dropout. No
graduation day for you, beauty school dropout. Missed your midterms and flunked shampoo.
And at the time, it was like a solo project. I knew I wanted it to be a band, but I didn't have the band at that point, so I was just writing stuff on my own. I was looking for names. I've always been super OCD about titles and naming things properly, or giving something a name that makes me feel at least. And so I read that, and I was like, oh, that's a sick band name. And I let it resonate for a sec, and then, like, I mean, it also happened to be my grandma's favorite song from the movie, all this other woo-woo, you know, extra stuff on top. And then there was a funny story where I had a song come out with Highly Suspect a long time ago.
Nice.
I like co-wrote it for them. And I didn't really know much at all about how like PROs and everything worked, because it was one of my first songs getting publishing on it. And so I remember he was asking for my publishing company, which is like usually just your name. And I was like, oh, dude, like I've been thinking about this artist name. Like should I put it down as Beauty School Dropout? And he's like, dude, bro, no, that's stupid. Like, just put your name. And I was like, fuck.
No, but it's stuck. And how was that for you to transition from being guitar to vocalist? Was your plan always? Did you always want to do the vocal side of stuff?
My whole life, I knew that whatever project that I sent it on full scale would be the one that I was singing.
Okay, cool.
But I had never sang in anything before this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, how was that for you? Because you have such a good voice, and you're all so good. So I want to know how you all came together as well, because such a cool rock band for this day and age of lack of rock, I feel.
I get her palpitations when I think of you naked. She said, maybe in another life, what a beautiful waste of time.
It was scary as fuck. I mean, our first show we played was a little pool party for probably like 50 people, and that was the first time I ever sang in front of people.
Damn.
On like a true level, yeah.
I joined Strange Faces like a month before we broke up.
And so you were a part of it.
At the very end, I moved to LA. They needed a guitar player replacement, and I hopped in.
And
I was
hopped
like
out
so
with-
excited,
Yeah.
and we wrote like an EP, and then it never saw the light. And then Cole was like starting that solo project, and I was like, bro, please let me be in it with you. Can I tell him the first name? Doom.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you just did.
That was
that
one
the-
of them. That wasn't even the first one. They were like,
That was when I came in.
oh god.
So
yeah,
what
they
were some of the almost project names that you were going to do before you settled on Beauty School Dropout?
Doom.
Oh,
If you
God.
can recall any.
8mm porno, right?
8mm porno was in there. Doom was one. I want to say there was. Oh, I'm trying to think.
8mm porno.
Yeah,
That's nice.
there's a whole story behind that that'll come back in the
Wasn't
future.
the Penis Boys one of them?
The Penis
yeah,
Boys.
yeah, the Penis Boys, and then Viagra Boys took their name, so we're like, oh, that's too close. No, not actually. I can't remember all of them at that point. I was so frantic, like I just wanted something so badly, and at the time I was also pretty much homeless and or on the tail end of that whole excursion, and so like I just was really just trying to find some foundation in my life.
He was a professional couch surfer.
Yeah, for sure. I was riding the tidal wave for many moons.
So once you guys started playing shows, when did like the whole traction pick up to where you got on Mark Hoppus's radar, P. Wentz's radar, got signed with Verswire? How did that part of your journey happen?
Well, we had Boys Do Cry Out. That was our first proper release.
Gotta run through the rain just to get through the day. When you turn all the lights on, looks like we're all the same. From the gold to the gutter, doesn't matter your color. When you turn all the lights on, looks like we're all the same. Got me thinking.
That one was just like us. Like we wrote, a million songs over the pandemic, and then linked with Jason Allen Butler of Fever.
We are the melanin felons, we are the product of the partner of policy that you gotta love. Casinos, amigos on 40 acres of. They built the shit on our backs, made in America.
And Let Live, which I got to
of
shout
course.
that out because growing up, that was one of the most pivotal bands in my life. Fake History, one of the best
and they're
albums
coming
of all time.
and they're coming back.
I know. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they've announced
they're
shows
back.
towards. They just played the Chain Reaction, which I missed that.
I
but-
was so pissed. We had a show that night too, and I was
Ugh.
like, "Dog, why did you do that?"
So you guys got in with Jason.
Early on, he was one of the first like real supporters of BSD.
I would say he was the first
Yeah.
person to
Like-
put us on.
Yeah, he really believed in us, but he helped take him. And they just I don't know. He really saw there was something there and said, "All right." Yeah, and so he was doing Zoom calls. He was in New Zealand at the time. He
Yeah, and
was
this
like
was all during COVID.
during COVID, and
Yeah.
he was hopping on like 5 a.m. his time to like come help us kind of like finish these songs,
He's
throw
such a
production
legend, bro.
ideas, you
Such a
know, and
legend.
like
Every time I've met him I used to see him do garage shows in Reno. That's where I first saw him, was a garage show in Reno.
So,
And ever since then, anytime I see him, I just feel like I'm not even good friends with him, but I feel like I'm good friends with him because
Yeah.
he's so kind.
He has that effect.
Uh-huh.
He
he's
remembers everyone's name.
I know, and I'm terrible with names and faces, and I interview people, so it's like annoying, but he's incredible.
that was how we became friends. I met him backstage of Side Stage Selma when I was 15 years old.
Oh, nice. Down in San Diego?
Yeah, and that was like way, I mean, fake history days, and like I went backstage or whatever behind the venue afterwards because I knew that's where people hung out, and we talked for probably all of 10 minutes. Told him my name, whatever. He was super cool to begin with, and that was where I was like, okay, this dude's the shit. And then a year went by, no contact, whatever. Came back to play San Diego, and he remembered my name
Oh, my
off of that
God.
10-minute conversation, and that's when I was like, damn, this fool's the coolest ever. Like, what? No one remembers my name, let
I
alone
can't remember
like
my
my favorite
homie's
artist.
name.
I know,
dude. Have had these moments where I literally stare at a friend that I've known for years and forget their name for a
I'm
second.
the same way. It's
Yeah,
so
I'm like,
That's true, Bardo.
I know. I actually get worried. I'm like, this has happened before, and I'm like, do I have like what the fuck is wrong with me?
Oh, it's so
This is-
bad.
I
if
have
you
it,
know,
and
if
in
you-
this industry, because there's so many people that you come across that you know decently well as well, and then it's the worst.
No, it's insane.
It's never nice to
Yeah.
meet you. It's always
No,
nice
good
to
to
see
see
you.
you.
It's good.
But anyway,
to
so
see you.
after we linked with Jason, he's like, all right, this project's gonna be something. He introduced us to Zach Jones, and
I know Zach
him.
Jones very well, yeah.
Super dope, amazing producer. And Zach came in and kind of helped. The demos are pretty much there, and the songs are there. He came on and kind of did like additional production and really helped mix things to bring him like, oh, this sounds like a fucking like rock thing. So that was Boys Do Cry. That was the sauce for that. So once that was a thing, that
Started ripping shows after that.
started playing shows.
Free
Yeah.
shows.
Here's the thing: is like I've known Jason very well since I've been like since that moment where we linked when I was like 16. Like after that, I saw him ritually through shows and festivals and talking on like Tumblr and shit, and just always stayed in touch and not on some weird shit. Like he just was always like a big brother to me. And so, like, even Strange Faces, he came to our first show ever, Strange Faces, at the Whiskey in probably, like, 2017, 2016, something like that. So he was always family ties, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, bro, like, you know, if you're down to get in, like, it'd be really cool, And it was always kind of like, oh, yeah, for sure. But, like, he was occupied, busy with his own stuff, and I don't think he we hadn't done anything that made him care yet, and then finally he came in on a session, and from there on out was like, oh, I get it.
That's so sick. And then he put you guys in touch with Zach Jones?
Yeah.
Because Zach was doing a lot of the Fever stuff. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's like, I got a guy. I'm like, okay, cool. And then,
I got a guy for that.
But it was cool because Zach is here in LA. And so we were just going over to Zach's house to finish things and finish mixes and whatever. And so that was cool. And
Which also shout out because Jason worked on this whole project with us.
Yeah. He
Did he? I didn't know that. That's
Oh yeah,
so great.
he's a huge part of us. I think really being a proponent of us being as authentic to ourselves as possible in finding the sound and figuring out what we wanted to do this next time around putting out music.
Mm-hmm.
We brought him back because the first time was so good.
Brought him back for second. So did the Zach Jones thing? Did that lead to any Pete Wentz, Mark Hoppus
Oh wait,
stuff?
we'll get there. Okay, Ray. So then we started playing a bunch of free shows everywhere in LA. It was just like we're like no tickets, like everything's free, and then
parties.
We were throwing
Mhm.
parties, and then that caught wind, and we met the head of Verswire, Sherry, and
And she's awesome, by the way.
she's
Shout out
awesome.
Sherry.
Yeah, shout out.
Nick was a major finesser there. I remember that night.
Shout out
so,
Nick as well.
So clearly, because we were just going to dinner at the Nice Guy, right?
Yeah,
Or whatever.
Nick is, for context, Nick is our
manager.
manager.
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry,
Nick Littman.
Nick Littman.
Not,
Shout out.
not
other
Nick Major, which
No.
you said Nick and Major in quick succession also there.
Other Nick, our manager Nick.
Nick was a major.
He's just like
You are
the
major
Kobe of managers, though. Like he just always sees the field and knows where the plays are. And he invited us out to this dinner, knowing Sherry was going to be there and that they were launching this thing because he had helped a bit with Veeps as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did Sherry help develop Veeps as well?
That was her
she
company.
started Veeps.
Okay, that's right.
she was Veeps. Yeah.
God, whew, props to her.
I know, she's goated. It's insane. But yeah, that was it. And we sat down at this table. None of us knew each other. And I just remember overhearing this conversation. Like I'm looking over at Bardo, and she's I can tell she's really intensely telling him something, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
And I
She
thought,
was telling me I had really great hair.
yeah.
Was she really?
Yeah, like intensely.
She's like, your
Intensely
curl
fair,
routine
man.
is going to get you signed to my label, which brings me to my next topic.
you wanna
I
say
have a label.
There's a story that goes around in our world. We like to think it's true that because Pete and Mark were like a part of the culmination of the label, Sherry sent an email with like 30 bands to both of them, and we were on that list. And the both
So
of
it's
them.
not even a story. This is true. This is. We've seen the emails.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. He
I
has.
have.
But Mark and Pete both responded only Beauty School Dropout.
That is so sick.
That's Mark Hoppus and Pete Wentz, right there.
You guys from BSD are here.
Oh my God, they're staring at us.
And I think the first, the video announcement that you did with them, I remember, like at like the restaurant or whatever, followed by the Assassin video, which I was in the Assassin video as just one of the extras.
Yes,
Because
you were.
it was at a little, it was at the On the Rocks.
Yeah, On the Rocks.
Yeah, it was at On the Rocks.
So here we go again. My heart is bad. Fell in love with the ways that you kill me. Do or die, you and I were guilty.
The Fever video kind of reminds me of that video a little bit. Just the way that it's kind of the party vibe.
Very
Yeah.
much that vibe. That was
was
kind of
the-
like the thinking of the video.
Yeah, cool. It's exactly what I got from that. So that's rad. And what was it like when you guys got to freaking meet up and work with Mark and Pete? Blink is my favorite band of all time. If Tommy was
Same.
here, I would tell the story of how he won Blink-182 tickets for life that he still uses to this day. But
Way.
what was that like?
So sick.
Because you guys have your song Almost Famous with him.
Famous that I already hated. They just wanna see what you're made of when you bury all your fears under makeup. Broken bones are all that I'm made of. Everybody wants to chase the dream, but they don't even know what that means.
It's surreal, man. It's like Blink was obviously like a major part in all of our lives, and it's just so weird. And Fall Out Boy, honestly, it's like and meeting both of them for the first time and having them like, it's cool. Like honestly, the best way to describe it is this: is like when I was a kid, my dad was always like, when I was like fanning over bands, he was always like, "Would you rather like get an autograph, or would you rather have lunch with those people?" And I'm like, would think about it. I'm like 10. I'm like, I'd rather get lunch with them. And he's like, yeah, that's the right answer. And I always had that kind of mentality, but it was like crazy that there we were like actually getting lunch with them. And it was in the context of us like working together on like peer level. And it's a funny thing when it like these people that you look up to shift from these people you're fans of to like your peers, and they're
Working with you.
Yeah, you're working with you, and you relate to them differently, and it's just like, I don't know, it's surreal. I still like pinch myself like most random time just thinking about this kind of shit, and it's just like, I just feel really grateful. But it's like dope. I feel like we've also earned it.
Yeah, hang on a second. What?
What else do you guys have coming up as the album's coming out after that? Is there any other tours and stuff, any exciting stuff that you can
We'll
reveal?
say yes, but we can only say that.
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's
if we're
a
allowed
lot of
to
stuff.
officially
There's a lot of
announce.
stuff happening.
Uh-huh.
We just love playing shows. We love touring. It's the best thing.
We will be in your city.
More pop-ups too. Like I think especially as we talk about some headline runs, like we want to spend more time in each city that we go to actually be able to, I guess, put on activations and do more for the community and for the people who are supporting us, rather than just like get in, play a show, get out, which is the usual tour schedule. We want to do a little bit more just like world building and kind of like throwing side shows and doing unique experiences, things that are a little bit off the nose of just like going and throwing a concert.
Yeah, that's really sick for the fans because that's just kind of appreciation to them and just giving them some cool experiences.
And that's
they
like
make this
everything.
possible.
Yeah, of course.
And was some of the first touring stuff that you guys did, touring as Ryan, aka Royal and the Serpent, was it touring with her as her band?
That was
Yeah.
the first tour.
I get overwhelmed so easily. My anxiety keeps me silent. When I try to speak, words come over me. Feels like I'm somebody else. I get overwhelmed.
Because it confused me as to who you guys were for a while, just
sure a lot of
because,
people.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I would see
definitely.
you guys as Royals band. So how did that all come to be?
Well,
Because
we were a band, and this is the era when we were like throwing the parties, doing whatever.
Yeah.
And those were going well in LA. We became homies with Ryan through me and Coley did a session with her, and we were writing this song that never. Lauren Sanderson ended up cutting that song.
Tongue
that we
Tied.
wrote.
Tongue-tied, the way you hold me by the waistline. I know it's gonna be a late night. I know you're gonna make me say some things I might regret. Oh.
And so we wrote that song. Beebus had never even met her, and then
She hired me for a music video.
She but then hired them for music video, and then they fell in love at
True
the music
story.
video.
you and Ryan,
Yes.
no?
And then-
Which they're an item, by the way, if you guys didn't know.
Now we're married.
And then
Not really, though, right?
Hypothetically.
Okay.
May as well be.
basically she's like, "Well, just come on tour with me." It was her first tour as well, and it was with Paris.
Never thought that I would feel like this. Such a mess when I'm in your presence. I've had enough that you've been making me sick. Gotta get you out of my system, yeah.
And so we're like, "Cool, we'll do it. That sounds awesome. Like, we'll be a band." And we had Starfire at the time too.
Yeah, the collab that you guys have was
So
with
it was
Ryan.
like kind of made sense. She's like, "Just play with me as the band, and then we'll play Starfire every night."
My back is crazed against the wall. I fucking want She just wanna fuck before the function. Only ring my line up for the fun shit. She used to fucking wanna run shit. She just play the game, don't give a fuck about assumptions, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people for the longest time were like, "You guys are in Royal and the Serpent," but for us, we're like, we don't give a fuck.
Oh, you were playing
shows.
live every night to big crowds, too,
Yeah,
right?
it was sick. We thought we were like fucking Bieber.
It was our first
know?
tour ever too, so it was a nice little trial run for us to be able
Yeah,
to get.
what good practice.
Oh
huh?
yeah, for sure.
and we got
that helped
paid.
me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. That's
we were
literally
like,
living
what?
the
You
dream.
get paid to be on the road?
And
Yeah.
then all downhill from
And
there.
then
And now we're in debt. and-
Fast forward like a few months later, we go on the first tour we ever did as Beauty School Dropout was a headline called the Almost Famous Tour,
Wow.
and that's a humbling. lesson.
Humbling, like nobody came?
Not
people
nobody.
ca-
there
people
was
came.
No, there
but
was
it was like
there was like obviously really great shows, like sold out New York, sold out LA, like there was lots of greatness, and then in DC there was like 15 people.
So, because was the tour, that was Paris and Royal when you guys went on that first tour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we were playing
Ooh,
like
yeah, that's a lineup.
1,500 to 2,000 cap rooms. We're like, this is sick.
Uh-huh.
and it was Paris' fans, and it was like the first show back from COVID. It was like a sold out. Like everyone's going to this thing. Like we were just like, this is what life is, and it's like. Then it's like, yeah, you gotta go earn it, you know.
But you guys have spent the years earning it,
Yeah,
I
we-
feel,
yeah.
because now, I mean, look at the response to it all, which is
Yeah, it's cool.
pretty sick.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Also, looking back at those photos, we look like fucking meth heads. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, we did.
We looked so crusty.
Everyone,
Like-
I'm going to have videos pop up now of you guys
I
looking.
can't believe no
your
one
worst.
sat us down and was like, you guys look
Are you okay?
fucking insane.
Nah, bro, that was the fucking wave.
I loved it.
Sometimes I want to go back. Like,
I-
we're both on that. Like,
Yeah.
we've been growing our hair out. We're like,
Yeah, put some red back in it. right?
I've
Absolutely.
been thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
it was just some rock and roll shit, you know? It was like,
weird
we didn't
moments.
have anything. We were just
Bardo needs to stop getting
lying in
haircuts.
10-passenger vans with dog beds on the floor, no showers, no fucking anything. These nasty fuckers having sex probably right next to us. Like,
Yeah, they were.
Not
yeah,
probably.
Yeah, were. Yeah, so it's like it was the first real step into that life. He thinks he knows what it's like, but he doesn't know what it's like.
To be what?
fast.
The entire show? You're gonna wear those?
Yes.
Rad.
That's what I'm saying.
Totally
He knows what it's like to go fast.
Think they know what it's like, but they don't know what it's like. They don't go fast.
This is cool. He likes go fast.
We've mentioned you got Warped Tour coming up this summer. Did you guys
sir.
grow up going to Warped Tour? Any Warped memories, favorite lineups, favorite shows?
I went the year that Let Live played with, and I think there was Story So Far. And I want to say the Chariot was the Chariot playing too?
Yeah, was that like leading up to when they were about to disband?
Mm-hmm.
It's only sketchy.
I want to say it was 20...
11?
I can show you the photos. Crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pull up the
I'd
photos,
always
please.
heard of Warped Tour, but never got to go.
Oh dang, really?
Yeah, always.
Did it not come near you?
I'm from San Luis Obispo, so it's like a small little town.
And it's out here, right?
It's
San Luis
here, yeah.
Obispo,
It's like 3 hours north of LA, which is a small little like town on the coast. But just Warped was not ever near us.
I guess the closest stop would have been Ventura, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't even know.
Did they do Warped Ventura?
Yeah, they did. And
Okay,
it was
yeah.
always right on the water, and it was like
Oh, wow.
it was so nice because in 14, 15, 16, I was lucky enough to be out on the entire tour
Yeah.
with Alternative Press.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
so I got to see all the stops.
That's sick.
But oh yeah, that is I have pictures of me with Jason in that exact era.
I
That
think
is
that had to
that's
be
you.
Like, yeah.
Wait, let me see you again.
I think it had to have been 2014. I
looks
think I was
so
16
suave.
years old. Yeah, right. I know what the fuck happened.
That's crazy.
What happened to this guy?
Yeah, you're gonna have to text me that so I can make that pop up on the screen if you're comfortable with it. But so you never got to attend.
I never got to go. Yeah, but I always wanted to go. And then I don't know. I was just like a big fan of, obviously all the growing up. And just, I don't know why I never went. Like
I know why I never went.
Why did you never?
Because
go?
I grew up in Arizona and Phoenix was like,
Oh, I know. Trust me.
yeah, all my friends that were older than me were going, and then they stopped going by the time it was like the age for me, like my parents being cool. So it's me like when I was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's too hot.
I'll tell you what, it's hot. When you
Yeah.
get that in the Vegas dates, Texas, just when you're on asphalt,
Yeah.
it's incredible. And I wore skinny jeans all the time too, so I'm like, I'm like incredible at hot weather. I just don't overheat, and I always think it's because Warped Tour just got me going.
Dude, same. I was in my paint-ons, and I would be at like
Yeah,
extreme
exactly.
thing on the blacktop of frickin' where would they do it but near Fremont Street during the middle of summer. It's just
I would
getting
just go to all those
destroyed,
band shows
so-
though when they came to Tucson. Like, I remember seeing like Escape the Fate.
Situations are irrelevant now. She loves the way that I tease. I love the way that she breathes.
And A Day to Remember.
Let's go!
What were the first concerts you guys ever attended?
My first one ever was Styx in Boston.
Okay. Styx. I think of South Park every time I hear Styx because there's an episode where yeah, because one time Cartman sings that song in an episode.
I can't stand to leave things unfinished. It's like when you hear the first part of that song, Come Sail Away by Styx. If I hear the first part of that song, I have to finish it. Really? Yeah, I can't do anything till it's done.
That's so funny. Kiss and Aerosmith in
Holy
2003.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is funny because yesterday the coffee shop I go to by my crib, there was a dude wearing a shirt from that tour, which I'd never ever see. But I was staring at him. We locked eyes a little bit.
Did you say anything to him? Did you fall in love? What happened?
I tried to, but I hadn't ordered yet, and I didn't want to lose my place.
Well, I grew up like from a young age going to like a lot of bluegrass festivals with my parents, and so I was like always going to like those things. But the first like proper like me concert was Green Day.
Don't wanna be an American idiot.
I saw them in Sacramento. I must have been like 10 or something. Like,
okay. I was gonna say, was Franz Ferdinand opening that show? Because if so, I was at that show.
No, I think it was.
That'd be crazy.
And actually, wait, it might have. It was like right after 21st Century Breakdown. It was that tour.
And Franz Ferdinand wasn't on it, right?
I don't know.
Okay,
I thought maybe the Interrupters were playing with them or something, or maybe that was later. I might be. I could probably find out. I'm gonna Google. this, but,
Yeah. I'm good because I did see them once. That would have been wild if we happened to be at the same show.
It was in Sacramento, but I remember we had like nosebleed seats, whatever, and then my dad was with me, and he's like, because I was obsessed with Green Day, and so we went down, and he's like, he basically bribed the security to let us go into the pit.
Oh,
And
nice.
the guy was like, yeah, fuck it, go.
That's a good dad. My
It was
dad used to
sick.
sit at, he'd always bring me to Warped Tour when I was a kid, and he would just like hang out in the grass all day
Yeah.
while I enjoyed the show. And it's always so cool having parents that are like excited to back you up with whatever your music
All our
interests
dads are very much those dads.
So what's it
rock
been like for
dads.
your dads to see you guys actually create a successful band and hit the road and tour and work with your idols?
They love it.
They get to live their dreams through us.
They're
so
like
excited.
living vicariously through us. So much so that on the last tour, we brought one dad out at a time for a week to come hang and help out.
It was crazy. It was like a weird.
It was a fever dream.
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah,
It was
the fever
honestly,
dream
it was
is the
really
best way
sick
to
though.
put it.
It was really cool.
Each one of our dads is so different too.
To
So
bring
it
it
was like a week of each flavor, and then you can see where we come from.
a
'Cause
little
we're
bit
like,
of you sprinkling in each
and,
dad
and
that's
also
on the
like
road.
also low key and more like introspective level, like every dad brings out a different level of trauma with each of us too. So there's like you could say every week there's like
Yeah.
a different level of like everyone like, all right, it's your turn to like deal with your f***ing childhood bullshit for this week, and like just what it was for like a month. It was
it's cool
awesome.
because I feel like every parent that supports their kid in this business is like, I want to drive the tour bus when you make it.
And they got to. They literally
Then
got
they
to.
had to.
No choice.
Yeah.
Be like, you said it. Now
Yeah.
do it.
But it was cool. Yeah, I mean, I would much rather have dads that are overly involved than not. They're like, we don't care. Like it's amazing that we got to do that experience with our dads. Even like, most people never get to do that. Most parents would be like, no, I'm not going on tour with you guys.
For the
You know what I
record,
mean?
too, we're not Nepo kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, our
definitely-
dads were, like, in the gutter with us.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely not. Never
That's why they're
get
finally
this
living
in
their
the
dreams.
sense.
They're
Yeah,
like, we
right.
finally get
Yeah.
to tour.
But they were just
Sleeping
always
6
very
to 3
supportive.
beds.
They were
in a-
like-
in an RV.
The best way to describe it is like I think we all had like the soccer mom dads for like music.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
just always very supportive of like, hey, like I remember growing up, like it was never a weird conversation that I was like, I want to be a musician. It was like not like, why would you want to be a musician? It was like, cool, how are you gonna make that happen? They don't know. They're not like, they're like, I don't know how the music industry works, but you should do it. You should
That's
try to
so
figure it out.
cool. Not
you know?
enough parents, I feel like,
At
are
all,
that
yeah.
understanding because they're also clear-cut path. No, you
Yeah.
got to go to school, kiddo.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, most kids get past like 17 and their parents like, all right, figure it out. Like, what the f*** you do? You
And
know?
so, I got to mention your sister's Dasha.
Did your boots stop working? Did your truck break down? Did you burn through money? Did your ex find out?
So you are both so musically inclined. Apparently, what the hell's going on in your family's gene pool?
I don't know.
It's
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the water up in Slow Town.
Water.
It's the natural hot springs.
Yeah.
The PJ seed.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it was really fun as like a brother to get to like have, it's fun to like relate to your sister on this level. You know what I mean? Because it's like we both, the music industry is such a niche thing that like very few people really understand and really get to like experience to the fullest extent. And so it's fun to like get to like, talk shit and like vent about shit you have to deal with.
Because
and-
you both are dealing with a lot of the
Yeah.
same stuff, I'm sure, being in the same industry.
and it's hard, and we're both very busy right now, and it's hard. It's honestly, it sucks because it doesn't suck. Like but one of the annoying things is it's hard to see her. Dash is like one of my best friends, and so it's like we don't see each other super often, but when we do, it's like fun contacts, and then there's now a lot of other people involved, and it's just so it's cool. I'm really proud of her. She's crushing it.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you to have a sister that you get to watch live out her dreams as well.
Well, it's funny too because it's not like the same. I like that's not the same genre
At all,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's fun that she's doing her thing, and a lot of actually fans don't realize that we're related. Like I've gone to her shows before, and kids come up to me and they're like,
What are you doing
like,
here?
why are you here? Like, I love your band, and I'm like, that's my sister, and they're like, wait, what the fuck? And they're like, they just were at her show too, and they're like, holy fuck, what? So it's kind of cool. It's like this weird little lore that like.
And it's cool too because I feel like nowadays more kids than ever before are into multiple genres of music because of like the easy accessibility to endless genres of music.
Yeah, it's really fun to see all these different things coming. Country's made this huge comeback, and rock's been. I think just music is in this weird spot where everything is cool again, and just you can kind of do whatever, and I don't know.
You
It's
guys
fun.
on the rock side, Dasha on the country side, which are the two genres that I
Yeah.
feel like are having cool moments.
They're cousins of each other,
Yeah.
which is kind of sick.
And
So
you guys are
I don't know.
siblings of each other.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. So,
So
love that.
I suppose we'll wrap this up talking about the album again because it's getting ready to come out here shortly. But what are you guys most excited for people to hear, or just in general, about the upcoming album?
I think that this album is a reflection of our most authentic selves.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like actually like the record that we've been trying to make since we started this band.
And do you think that working with Neil helped that happen because the process was just so different in the creation of it? And
Absolutely.
And there was
Yeah.
just no rush.
That's
we,
yeah. It was
We
so,
genuinely got to take our time. We got to write a million songs. We got to like dissect the songs that we did want to come out and like hone in our sound.
It's an experience. I
Mhm.
feel like top down. Even when we tour it, for me at least, the intention would be to tour it as an experience and like play the entire thing front to back and let that be a tour of its own.
and it's cool because I think there's different moments for the there's like different like sonic moments. There's like I think there's 3 different buckets we made. It was sexy,
Heavy.
and
Driving.
Oh, driving, heavy, right? Or no, sexy. Wait, you're right.
we're
You're right. It was driving.
we're terrible at this.
Heavy-
I don't know. The
What's
point is there's
driving?
3.
Fever falls under driving.
Okay.
Fever's driving for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
I mean, you haven't heard you haven't heard the sexy yet.
I haven't heard the
But there-
sexy
on your
yet,
lips
but
is
I've
like
seen the sexy.
quote unquote.
There's a new side of BSD on this project, which is
Yes,
sexy.
Sexy.
We've always been sexy, but now we sound sexy.
Ooh,
You know?
I like that. That sounds.
As much as I wanted to be
sounds sexy.
emo and crying about my feelings forever, I just no, I'm just kidding. I'm still crying about my feelings.
But it's sexy to cry. We're crying in a sexy
just
way.
naked this time.
Yeah. There's no clothing. And it's sexy crying.
Tears on my stomach.
Tears on
like,
my
We also pulled from a lot of different influences for this record.
Yeah.
I think bands that we hadn't ever, obviously that we've always loved, but like hadn't been like, we like what they did in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big one for us was Killers on this record.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss.
Specifically Hot Fuss is,
And Hoppus, and also weirdly, their cover of Joy Division's Shadow Play.
yeah.
We referenced that one.
Their
so
cover of it.
Yeah,
That
okay.
was
on
That's a
Sawdust.
weird, like, it's such a weird deep cut, but it was one of the best covers I've ever heard. I've been a huge fan of it since I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's their cover of Shadow Play by Joy Division. And it's like, no one knows about the song, but we reference that song so much.
Do you each have a favorite song from the album that you're excited for everyone to hear? I know I'm guessing the track listing is out at the point of
The
this
track
chat
listing is out.
dropping.
Yes. I think my favorite song is
I don't know.
Madonna.
I think Madonna for
Madonna's
me
up
too. It's
there
all
for
shifted,
sure.
but I think we like throughout the making of the product, I think we all were like, Madonna is the one.
Is that a sexy song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Sounds
Yeah.
like a sexy song.
It's a sexy song.
Cool.
It's about my mom.
It's about your mom.
Yeah, it's called
Madonna.
Mom Donna.
Mom Donna. Mom Donna. Catch
Yeah.
it on the new album. And I'm probably going to say it wrong again, but is it Where Did All the Butterflies
Where
Go?
did all the
Yes,
butterflies
yes.
go?
Where Did All the Butterflies Go by Beauty School Dropout. It is dropping September 5th. Correct?
September 5th.
Yeah.
Listen to the album to
I
find
hope
out.
that's the right day. I don't know.
I think
It's
that's the right
September
date.
5th.
But
Grace
Yes.
says it is.
Yes, that's the right date. But thank you guys so much for chatting because we've never done a proper chat before. And is there anything else you want to cover, or do you feel
Yeah,
like
I think I figured out the tour. Was it the Arco Arena one? Was that Sacramento?
it was at an arena?
But it was pre-Madonna. Oh, it's 2009. I don't think that was Franz Ferdinand. Was not. I've also never heard of pre-Madonna.
Franz Ferdinand. God, I would have been so close to that then because
Yeah,
the
I don't
tour I
know.
went to must have been in 2010. Okay, sorry for this weird interruption, but I'm editing this interview right now at my parents' house in Reno, Nevada, and I had to make this quick video on my phone just to confirm and say Bardo and I were at the exact same Green Day show. His first show ever, that was the 2009 one with Green Day at Arco Arena, and although he couldn't find it in what he looked up, I did my investigation, and Franz Ferdinand was there, and it was that show. So that's crazy. Or 11 with Franz Ferdinand in Sacramento. My dad was there with me. My buddy Luke from London was in.
Damn. Well,
But I've always
we
said
almost-
that it was the best live performance I've seen from a band. They're not my favorite band of all time, Blink is, but their
No,
set
Green Day is
was
when we saw them at Coachella, we cried. It was just like
unbelievable.
Pardo and I
But yeah.
did cry.
I am. My sister and I just booked tickets to see Lady Gaga next month
Oh, it's
because
so good.
she saw the Coachella set, as did I, and we were both like, I feel
Insane.
like this is something you got to see before
Shout out Tosh.
you don't have the chance. Oh yeah,
Yeah, Tosh
Tosh
is
is
drumming for
drumming
her.
all over the
It's so
world with her
insane.
right now, like in front of 1 million people.
He
like
is
2 million.
crushing,
Okay,
bro.
2 million
Insane.
It was
people.
2 million
2
people.
million in Brazil.
How do you even fit that many people in a crowd?
It was
like that doesn't
insane.
make sense.
Did
No,
you see the
it's-
overhead shots of it?
Yeah,
But how does that even become enjoyable at a certain
there's
point?
screens every like 20,000 people.
And how do you
Like a
leave?
giant
Like how do
movie.
you? I don't even know. I don't even know because when we were young,
South
it was crazy to
America
me.
does it different.
Imagine the traffic. The
Brazil.
traffic must have been like a week to leave that. Like
I know.
I just don't.
To leave
It's
weeks
probably a
early.
lot of people that just like commute by
By foot.
walk in,
Mhm.
honestly, from all over.
Well,
And then
it's a matter of time
disperse.
before you guys play to 2 million people down
So
there.
Working on
We'll
it.
call you when we get
You
there.
call me, fly me in. I'll
Yeah.
do a little
I'll
opening
pay-
set, guys.
I'll personally pay for your ticket.
Done.
Pre-show interview.
All right, and we're going to shake on that.
Yeah.
Beauty School Dropout, thank you guys so much for stopping in. The new songs are awesome. On Your Lips.
On your lips is where I just like you said I'm right. 'Cause on your lips is where
And Fever.
I got the fever. I got the fever in my heart, in my soul.
Those are out now. Everyone can check them out. September 5th is when Where Did All the Butterflies Go drops. So be sure to check that out.
Find out.
And thank you guys for talking.
We love you,
Yeah,
Nick.
yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you for
having
having us. Much love.